Hello and welcome back on Primetime Watchmaking in the News, and it seems like already a super long time since the last edition published in early July. So happy to be back with this program, and we have plenty of news to share because even though the watchmaking world goes slightly into hibernation during the summer, yes, I know this kind of antinomic concept, well, nevertheless, there has been quite a few watchmaking related stuff going on in the past weeks, mainly business shenanigans and some other considerations, and not too much on the product launch side of things. That's normal and part of the season, but it will accelerate within the next weeks or so, and we already have a few hints of exciting timepieces that will soon be launched that I mentioned at the end of this video. But let's start with a bit of a very quick auto-congratulation because we are celebrating our 6th year anniversary on the 1st of September. Crazy how time flies, and after more than 1,000 video reports produced, well, we still have plenty of things to tell. So thank you so much for watching, sharing, commenting, subscribing, liking. This has become a fabulous and inspiring community. You can't imagine how happy it makes me feel and how it energizes me and my small team. And a very special mention to all of you that have pledged $1 or $2 to help us finance this watchmaking adventure through our Patreon campaign. Sincerely, I am very moved by this and just wanted to say that you can count on us to keep pushing further with what we do, as there is this special project I'm working on, which is, I promise you, very unbelievably cool. Okay, I'm not very objective about that, and I can't really talk about it yet, but I promise that it's something really quite fantastic and quite big to put in place, and needs naturally quite a bit of resources too. So, okay, enough teasing, and let's go back to prime time because there are apparently some pretty good news for the industry, as it seems that Swiss export figures have been slightly going back up. But I would personally take this with extreme caution because, as we know, that the global environment for watch brands is a rather shaky one for a multitude of reasons, and I won't repeat myself regarding this. But I just sincerely hope that things will indeed go in the right direction for everybody, meaning us, the consumers, and of course all the many people working in the industry. But when I read the other day that someone was saying that they just couldn't cope with demand, well, I was naturally a bit dubious, if you see what I mean. But if it's the case, well, really cool for them, and I can naturally only wish them that. Anyhow, it's true that some markets have been doing good, and this leads me to the second point of this prime time. Since the Brexit and the significant weakening of the British currency, well, this had a big impact on the prices of watches sold in Great Britain for tourists and for some UK people that had some stronger currencies available. So over the last 12 months or so, brands were very happy of selling all their stock already in the UK prior to the Brexit. And because of the general downturn of the industry, well, brands were too unhappy to replenish these stocks and keep those competitive prices. But now the party seems to be a bit over, as the price difference makes it clearly uneven between a shopping destination, and we've recently heard of brands hiking up their prices in the UK to adjust to international levels. We've heard, for instance, that Patek Philippe adjusted their price by roughly 5-6% on their collection, but this doesn't stop Great Britain and London in particular of being a very sexy shopping destination for many people. And to face with this high demand, we've heard, for instance, that Harrods, the legendary Knightsbridge Emporium, will double the surface made available for high-end watch brands. And when you think that this was almost a non-existing business for them just a few years ago, well, it just shows how important this has become for them, and how vice versa, Harrods is important for the brand, since most of these brands have their own boutique not too far away from Harrods. But the drive such an institution can pull is just phenomenal. But talking about institution, and still in the UK, well, this is a sound you will not hear any longer, or at least not for the next 4 years. Well, yes, the famous Westminster chime that some minute repeater timepieces mimic in what is considered as the grail of complication, well, Big Ben has just been put on silence as it will go over some serious restoration work. I mean, this clock has been chiming for approximately 150 years, and it is time for this venerable landmark in watchmaking culture to be overhauled and restored, and this process will indeed take 4 years, so quite some serious work apparently to be done. And since it's a very important touristic attraction, well, we've heard quite a lot of people in Britain complaining about the length of the process. I have to admit that I would really love being able to do some kind of hands-up follow-up on this immense task. That would make for some pretty interesting video reports, I'm quite sure, not exactly the same size as the timepieces we're accustomed to cover on the Watches TV, but still would be pretty cool. So if any Big Ben people are listening, please consider us for this.